You know, you got a lot of people talking about immigration problems in Europe. And I was reading an article from the New York Times that had the opinions of several individuals. One was Ann Coulter, who was talking about why Trump ain't going to get it. He's not going to win the nomination. He's not going to be the guy. And Ron DeSantis is the best. You know, she makes some points. One of the points she made was that Donald Trump is not the same guy he used to be. And she was right about Trump. Back in, I think it was 2015 or 2016, she said Trump will be the nominee. And they all laughed like Trump's going to win. And they all laughed. She knew. What she's saying now is that Trump won off of immigration. And immigration is a principal issue that is not being addressed right now. And that if Ron DeSantis comes out and takes that as his main issue, he's going to win. I'm not entirely convinced, to be completely honest. It would be unprecedented. But hey, she was right the first time and everyone laughed at her. I ain't going to laugh at Ann Coulter. She was right about Trump. You better keep that in mind. Take a look at this story. I love the absurdity of the story. American woman who's lived in Paris for 6 years exposes very dark side to life in the City of Light, revealing she's been robbed, assaulted, and survived a kidnapping attempt. But she still says she's happier than she ever was in the U.S. Wow! That is a terrible indictment of Paris, lady. I am really impressed by, let's read. An American woman living in Paris has marked her 6-year anniversary in the country by revealing the brutal realities. 6 phones pickpocketed, thwarting an attempted kidnapping, and visiting the hospital up to 5 times. Wow. Nonetheless, the 33-year-old still encouraged others to take the plunge. The experience is priceless. Famously had 6 cell phones pickpocketed, had an Uber driver try to kidnap me. Yo, lady, what? In an interview with a South African couple when I was in Korea, of all places. And it was, I think it was in Korea. And it was interesting because I asked, like, is South Africa getting really, is it really that bad? You know, we're hearing about the farmers that are being attacked. This is years ago, mind you. And they were like, it's not really as bad as everyone says it is. I think I've only been carjacked like 5 times. And that was the funniest thing to me. Frogs in a pot, boiling, and then there you go. You've only been carjacked 5 times? I've never been carjacked, and I'm from Chicago. Been shot at randomly a couple times. And I know that's bad, because where I live now ain't never happened. Living in New York, never got shot at one time. Sometimes you hear gunshots, and you're like, yeah, wonder what that's all about. That's the thing. Out here in the boonies in West Virginia, when I hear gunshots, I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going on. One day I woke up, and it sounded like automatic gunfire, because a neighbor and his kids were all shooting at targets. And I was like, oh, that's really fun. I don't care. I don't think twice. I'm not concerned about it. When I hear gunshots going off out here, it's just like, well, they're aiming at targets. I don't got to worry about it. When I'm in Chicago and you hear a gunshot, you're like, better lay down. You don't know where that bullet's going. But this is what's crazy to me. This lady is basically saying Paris is disastrous. Look, wow, this is crazy. She says, there are 4 pregnant bellies that I never got to touch and 7 newborns that I never got to hold, 4 funerals I wasn't able to attend, and dozens of birthday parties I couldn't be present at. Hey, I'm happy she's happy, but she's making a strong indictment of Paris. I have famously had 6 cell phones pickpocketed, and an Uber driver tried to kidnap me. I was assaulted at the Louvre by like 14 guys, and I had my drink drugged with something on the Seine. I've gone to the police station to fill out police reports 5 times, and I visited the hospital 5 times. A French person has made me cry at least 100 times, and I have been told, c'est pas possible, when it was possible at least 500 times. She said, it's not possible in French. She continues, if you move abroad, you will miss everything at home. You will miss events, births, weddings, and funerals. You will spend countless days feeling lost, not knowing anything about life, feeling stupid. You'll be discriminated against simply for being an immigrant and be treated like a second-class citizen. Amazing. But nonetheless, you will make new friends and they will move away. You won't be able to express yourself the way you want to. And you'll find yourself constantly thinking, I'm so much smarter in English. I'm so much funnier in English. They have no idea. But the issues do not stop there, as social media star adds. You'll think you are fluent in the language and then find out that you are not. And then you'll think you're really, really fluent this time, but no, you're still not. You'll have to relearn everything you know about how life works, and it's going to suck, but do it anyways. Amanda then pivots to her thoughts about why people should move regardless of the extensive list. She said that she has lived in 3 different apartments, acquired a new cat. Okay, look, we get it. We get it. I think she very much enjoys what's going on. She boasts 725,000 followers on TikTok. I don't think it's real. to be completely honest. I really, can you name a TikToker? Honest question. Name a TikToker. I'm waiting. Oh, I know you said Dylan Mulvaney, but Dylan Mulvaney's got followers on Instagram and other platforms. No. Name somebody who's only famous on TikTok. Yeah. I'm sure younger people can to a greater degree, but there are a lot of people that you can name on social media. YouTube, for instance, tons of YouTubers that are popular among the younger generation and YouTubers that are popular among older generations. But TikTok is much, much, much harder. You know, but far be it for me to say, there are some people that we've interviewed who are huge on TikTok and they know they have no influence. And that's the weirdest thing. Nobody recognizes them. Nobody walks them in the street. It's very, very strange. But they're varying degrees, to be completely honest. It just depends on whether or not the media will highlight you. But anyway, I digress. I don't know who this lady is. Who's this lady with 725,000 followers on TikTok? Okay, you know what? Maybe I'm an old man. I just don't know anywhere, but I'm on Instagram. I follow a bunch of accounts on Instagram and popular people. There are people that I might recognize from Instagram. Not TikTok, though. But who am I to say? Here's what I see with this story. Now, she can say everything she wants to say about how she loves traveling, and I can respect that. But I just got to point out, living in Paris, someone tries to kidnap you. You've been assaulted by 14 guys. You've been pickpocketed and robbed. And I'm just kind of like, yo, what's going on in Paris? What's happened to this place? Because we hear it quite a bit. And this is an interesting thing about the arguments about immigration. Now, here's the big mistake I think a lot of people make. They think it's race. I really, really can't stand the race argument because it is like low IQ assessment. Sorry, it just is. What happens is immigrants come in and then they see crime. Let's say in the United States. Let's talk about immigration in the U.S. Drug trafficking, et cetera, et cetera. And they're like, it's this dang old immigration. And it's like, it's not immigration, dude. I'm sorry. They say it's race. They end up looking at the skin color of the individual and they say it's race. Immigration plays a large role in this, but even immigration to an extent is not the issue. But my point is, it ain't the people. It's the culture that the people have. And that can change or it can be different based on a person. Two guys crossing the southern border may look identical, but have completely different worldviews. And that is the issue you need to understand. So to clarify, people will see the trafficking and assume race plays a role. And, I'm not a scientist. Maybe there's some factor there or whatever, but I'm saying overwhelmingly, because nothing's absolute, it's not race. It's just not. They look at these videos and they're like, look, it's a video showing a particular group of people, African economic migrants committing these pickpocketings and crime and stuff. And I'm like, it is culture. It's culture, man. And I'll explain. There are people who are fleeing Venezuela and Cuba because they hate socialism. These are Pacific Islander, I'm sorry, not Pacific Islander. These are Caribbean folks, descendants of natives from the area, Native American, mestizos, Central American, etc., Hispanic-speaking individuals who are fleeing these countries in desperate hope that they can live in a capitalist country. I love it. So that means that there will be many people who don't speak English, who immigrate here illegally, and we don't like that, but still favor our worldview and our Constitution more than many people in this country. This is the funny thing that I love about the white nationalists. They like to bring up, this country's, what are they saying? It's the last generation is going to be white majority. And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Like a person being white doesn't mean anything to me. Someone commented really funny because Laura Loomer mentioned that on the show. And then someone super chatted like, telling a mixed race guy that the country is not going to be majority white is like a waste of time. Or it said something like, is like showing a picture of oxygen to a drowning man. It's a quote from Watchmen. I like it. But it's like completely meaningless. It does nothing for me. You know what I care about? Values. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your race is. I care that you enter the country legally. I care that you care about our Constitution. You care about our values. And if you come here, you say, I am not going to impose my views on you. I will adopt your culture because yours is a proven track record for success. So here's what happens with France. This mass influx of immigration, right, it is an issue. If all the immigrants who came to the U.S. were, imagine if the only people crossing the border, no traffickers, no cartels, literally just Venezuelans escaping communism. Yo, we'd all be much better off. These people would come here and they would start talking about the problems of leftism and how we got to change it. And we'd be clapping for them. And that'd be fantastic. Instead, what do we get? Economic migrants who don't care at all. And that is an issue because they don't bring American culture with them. They bring nothing. And then it's not a melting pot. It's a homogenization pot. I'm sorry, that's actually what we want. It's a de-homogenization pot. It's a bunch of factions of random people who don't care about anything other than just getting for themselves. Nah. We want people to come to this country of all different backgrounds and skin types and colors, so long as they agree with American values. Frederick Douglass, man, that dude was based. He's a black man talking about how we have to live up to our own Constitution. There are many people who recognize the founding fathers did a great thing, despite doing bad things as well. That's what we got to talk about. So that's what I find funny with this video. This lady, man, that's an indictment of what's going on in France. And immigration plays a role. That's why you need legal immigration. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up tonight at 6 p.m. I think at 6. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.